was that he caused the mark when a again, I understand that, Colonel, assuming that it is a mark caused by the prosthetic foot. That's what we work on. You're not accepting it because you didn't test it.
Yeah.
Your second proposition was, of course, it could have happened that mark could have been imprinted on that panel by the prosthetic foot in him stumbling on it and causing the mark.
That's correct, my lady.
But of course we have now photo 120 that we can look at again. The mark at the bottom, not on the top. So when you stumble on the plank, it would be on the reverse side or the back side.
When you stumbled, this one was on the front side, so it's facing the floor in this photograph.
Yes, and where would we call it, the footprint be?
The
on this
footprint
photo
would be facing the floor, as I said.
Facing the floor.
Yes,
so when you walk on that plank, or you stumble on that plank, it cannot cause the imprint on the wrong side.
That's correct, my lady. Another very important thing on this picture is, if you look at the blood on the floor, the blood is smeared underneath that plank, which means that that plank, or that piece of panel, was put there or ended up there after the smear mark on the blood was on the floor was created.
And of course, it could have been tampering.
So, no, I'm not saying it's tampering, my lady. I just said that. I never said tampering. I said the piece of the panel could have been moved into the bathroom, into that position, or was most probably moved into the toilet in that position after the deceased were moved out of the bathroom, and that is consistent with the panel lying on top of the blood smear.
Yes, I understand it, but you need then a second step. You need to say, well, the footprint's now at the bottom. He cannot cause that footprint, but of course there's another possibility that somehow he turned the plank over first, stepped on it, and then, or first he stepped on the plank with the upside, the footprint up, and then he turned the plank over for the footprint to be at the bottom. That's a possibility, I think.
My lady, there's many possibilities in this. In the commotion that took place after he pulled the deceased out of the toilet, he could have moved the panel into the toilet. That's another possibility, and not taking note of which side must be on top and which side must be to the bottom. It could have been an automatic action trying to get the plank out of his way while he was probably trying to assist Mrs.
When would he then step on it?
Before he went into the bathroom. After he broke open the door and after the panels was removed, he could have stepped on it, he could have tripped over it. So
no, but he must not only do that on that theory. He must step hard enough that I still cannot understand how it would make a mark, and I invited you to do the test, we'll come to that, to make that mark. But then he must do something else. He must pick up that plank and put it back in a position that it's upside down.
That's correct, my lady. That's a version, that's a possibility that is on the table, and if I have to accept that that's a footprint on the door, they must be able to accept my a version like that as well, not necessarily my.
Okay, to photo 162, 162. What is it that you see?
I see supposedly the prosthetic legs of Mr. Pistorius, wearing socks, blood on the legs.
That photo would show, if it's of course correct, the prosthesis with the foot.
That's correct, my lady.
That's what we say. That was the foot that kicked the door. And of course you don't accept it, it's just for your benefit. But you don't accept it.
My lady, I did not, yeah, well, that's a version put to me.
I need to know, you don't accept it, or you simply say, I don't know?
Except that it was the foot that opened, that kicked the door
kicked,
open.
yeah.
Well, if we're talking in assumptions now, my lady, so it is possible, according to the assumption, that that was the foot that...
It would have been, of course, fantastic. As a qualified footprint examiner, seeing that mark, investigating the door, seeing the door on more than one occasion, just to do the test.
My lady?
You had the prosthetic legs, just do the test.
My lady?
To see what caused that mark.
That mark did not appear to me to be a shoe print or a footprint, or a shoe or a foot making that mark, and that's why it was not compared with the legs of Mr. Pistorius. And I can also say that when I received the prosthetic legs, the legs did not have the socks on it. I received the legs without the socks.
Yes. Photo 414. What is it that you see there, if you can identify it to the court? 414. I'm sorry, I thought it was on screen. And you assist the court and tell the court what you see, and specifically in relation to the mark to the right of the yellow tape measure.
That's correct, my lady. Again, it's a photograph of that piece on the right there, showing the bullet holes as well as the mark.
Could you just focus with the green light on the mark that we can see it in relation to the door? It is beneath, it's to the left of the handle and beneath.
That's correct, my lady.
About, I guess, about from the handle itself, about 10 centimeters beneath.
It's probably 10, 12 centimeters.
Yeah. And photo 413.
It's just it's a photograph.
It's basically the same, again showing the mark.
Yeah, showing the mark.
So the mark was, if I look at the two photos, the mark was receiving some attention by the police.
Say again, my lady?
Two close-up photos of the mark. There was some attention to that.
Yeah, I would not say it was the mark that was photographed. There's also bullet holes in there, my lady, which was also... and I would say these photographs pays attention to the bullet holes. They're the ones that were marked out.
Not to the mark.
I don't think so, my lady.
Then I want to show you another photo that we will hand up as Exhibit EE. Then you tell me if you know what this is. Possible for you to identify what you see in this photo?
looks like the bottom side of the prosthetic legs, my lady.
With respect, my lady, we don't have one. We would really like to also see what...
You don't have?
No, not at all. Not been handed to us.
I thought it was handed. What is it that you see?
It seems like it's the bottom side of the prosthetic legs, my lady.
For the foot?
With the foot, yes.
Yeah.
The sole of the foot.
And there's a date there?
27th of February 2013, my lady.
At 12 o'clock.
That's what...
Yes, that's what it says.
Yeah.
And then give the state an opportunity. We'll hand in a photo marked as EE. And I will tell you what that is. To give the state another opportunity to look at this. This is what I showed to you. It's a piece that was cut out of the prosthetic foot in order to do the comparison and the markings and the microscopic testing in relation to the mark on the door. Do you know, as a matter of interest, Roger Dixon?
I know Roger Dixon.
Who is he?
He worked with me. He was my commander before he left the laboratory.
Competent person?
I experienced him as a competent person, yes, my lady.
Was he your commander?
He was my commander, yes, my lady.
Of course, this was done by Roger Dixon.
Okay.
I want to ask you, I just missed that yesterday, I'm sorry about that, about photo 484E, in brackets E, 484E.
My lady, can I just on this picture, when was it cut out from the foot? When was this?
Why is it that you ask?
No, I just would like to know because it's presented to me as a piece of...
Yes, we will call Mr. Dixon because you did not even look at that.
That's fine.
So it was just consuming time to deal with you there. Can you go to photo 484E? What is that?
My lady, that is a photograph of me taken with a cricket bat standing up in a natural position without crouching down, just to show the angle of the bat in relation with the door if I was standing up. And that it must be compared with the one where I'm crouching down like this, where the angle of the bat was again shown.
Is the bat reaching sensibly the opening there, where the missing pieces would be?
Yeah, it's right there, my lady.
So it's a photo of you standing up in a position.
That's correct, my lady.
With the bat in position with that.
In position with that. My lady, maybe on this picture I can just mention that the marks on the side of the bat, the indentations on the side of the bat, in this instance, did not match the contours and the lines of the door. So this is not to say that I say the bat was in this position when the door was beaten.
But you didn't push it in, it's just touching.
It's just touching. I just wanted to show the angle of the bat if I was standing up straight.
But you didn't push it in?
No, I didn't push it in this.
To see if it would match?
My lady, we can do that for investigation again here in court and show you exactly what I mean with this picture.
I was wondering yesterday, if I asked you to close your eyes and stand on your knees and to replicate that position, to swing the bat but not hit it or just bring it forward, what do you think would happen?
My lady, if I'm not exactly on the spot, I will be very close to the spot, because it would be a kind of a natural position for me.
And standing?
And standing, I will probably hit it higher up.
Or if you bent your back like yesterday, where would it probably go?
If I bent my back, it would have been more or less, could have been in the same position.
Yes. I have one photo that I don't have a copy of, so may I just ask for a short adjournment? I just want to find out. I see it is 11 o'clock. I did not realize. I just do not have a copy of that, and I don't want to deal with that without a copy. If that's relevant, I just want to make sure.
How long will you need?
My lady, may I deal with another aspect in order not to waste time?
Yes.
I realize. Coming back, I'll come back to this photo after the adjournment. I'm concerned because I see in your curriculum vitae, you deal with crime scene investigation courses that you attended and so on, and the inventory. Because it's been reported to the police, and we wait for feedback, and we have photos to show between what time and what time it happened, but that the accused had a little cabinet or a box with watches, and watches went missing. And that's why we need also the inventory for that purpose.
My lady, I did not have access to that inventory. I did not compile that inventory, so I would not be the right person to ask for the inventory.
In your experience as a person that attended that crime scene investigation course, who must make this inventory?
My lady, usually the inventory that is made on the scene is of exhibits taken. It's not of every object found in the house. So if I investigated the scene, I would not have made an inventory of every object in the house, every watch, every chair, everything in the house. I would just make an inventory of the stuff that I collected on the scene, which I removed from the scene.
Who would be responsible for that inventory?
The crime scene manager, for the person in charge of the crime scene, would do that inventory, and he would record everything that is collected, my lady.
Because we know there was one, and I will tell you where it was. At the front door. Someone keeping an inventory, and we're trying to find that inventory. Would that go to your department?
No, my lady, that would not come to my department. Not unless it's necessary to come to us. Usually, as I said, it's the person in charge of the crime scene that will keep that record in, and that will most probably go into the case docket.
Now, when we were in court not too long ago, we saw also amongst members of the police a YouTube video. You remember what that was all about? The one with the cricket bat hitting the door.
Did I see it?
Yes, did you?
No, I did not. I'm not.
Well,
I haven't seen it.
We'll ask him, we'll take steps, we'll ask you to see it, because I'm not saying it's the truth. But as a person that worked on the door, I'll tell you what it was all about. It was done, and I don't know how scientific, but it was done in the UK with a microphone 180 meters away, and the person taking a bat and hitting a door, and then after that firing a 9mm to compare the significant resemblance of the shots.
No, I definitely did not see that video.
Did you do any test when you heard about the version that there was of the accused, there was first a shooting and then the hitting of the door, to understand the resemblance between them?
No, I did not do any investigation on that, my lady.
But you were aware of that version?
I became aware somewhere along the line that the door was broken open with a cricket bat. I knew there was shots fired, but I never did an investigation in that regard.
We know on your investigation that there were first shot fires and then the cricket bat broke the door. And
That's
the
correct,
evidence
my lady. That's correct. That's correct, my lady.
So what I'm trying to find out is that when you heard this version again, later on, whenever, that you go back to the forensic department to conduct that test, particularly because we see a number of policemen looking at this YouTube video, and I was just wondering, and if you
My lady, I never seen a policeman watching that video.
So
I was not even aware of that video, and I did not do any investigations in that regard until now.
Lady, I tried to use some valuable time. It's only one outstanding aspect that I must deal with. Those are the photos. I just want to make sure that they're really relevant, and I don't have copies of that. Maybe take the adjournment till after the tea.
Yes.
Smear mark on the blood was on the floor was created.
And of course, it could have been tampering.
So, no, I'm not saying it's tampering, my lady. I just said that I never said tampering. I said the piece of the panel could have been moved into the bathroom, into that position, or was most probably moved into the toilet in that position.
When you stumble on that plank, it cannot cause the imprint on the wrong side.
That's correct, my lady. Another very important thing on this picture is, if you look at the blood on the floor, the blood is smeared underneath that plank, which means that that plank, or that piece of panel, was put there or ended up there after the...
On that panel, by the prosthetic foot, in him stumbling on it and causing the mark.
That's correct, my lady.
But of course we have now photo 120 that we can look at again. The mark at the bottom, not on the top. So when you stumble on the plank, it would be on the reverse side or the back side.
When he stumbled, this one was on the front side, so it's facing the floor in this photograph.
Yes, and where would we call it, the footprint be?
The
on this
footprint
photo
would be facing the floor, as I said.
Facing the floor.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you walk on that plank, was that he caused the mark when the again, I understand that, Colonel, assuming that it is a mark caused by the prosthetic foot. That's what we work on. You're not accepting it because you didn't test it.
Yeah.
Your second proposition was, of course, it could have happened, that mark could have been imprinted